Hey, this is Josh Green with Alchemy Design and Development and Traverse Capital. Here again to talk about our 21st Street Townhomes project. And today I wanted to talk about how we found this deal, how we got it under contract, how we got a hold of the owners, and kind of the whole story behind this deal and the land specifically. So, for those who don't know, this project is in Ogden, Utah, which is about 40 minutes north of Salt Lake City, Utah, where I live. And it's kind of funny. Ogden, if you grew up here in Utah, Ogden has kind of a stereotype of being kind of a rough place. And, the growing up, we kind of joked that there was no reason to go to Ogden unless you were looking to get stabbed or something. And I know that that's not very politically correct now, but that's kind of, growing up here, that was kind of the stereotype of Ogden. And there's some interesting stories if you go back and look through history. There's a story of Al Capone, being in Ogden, walking down historic 25th Street, and saying something along the lines of, it was too rough of a town for him. And so, just yeah, and a little more backstory. I mean, it's a railroad town, and so it's got that kind of history behind it. So the site itself, it's a rectangle. It's really easy to work with. It's just about 3/4 of an acre, just a little bit less, and it's right on 21st Street, between Lincoln and Pingree Avenues, and it's just a great location. It's right downtown. There's all kinds of stuff around it. There's a kind of historic ice cream place, Farr Brothers Ice Cream, that's almost right across the street. There's a mass transit line, a commuter rail line, a station within walking distance. Um, they also just finished a bus rapid transit line on the other side of the block that goes from the light rail from the commuter rail station up to Weber State University and back. It's a dedicated bus line. That's just finished within walking distance. And then there's been a lot of redevelopment and development going on right around there. There's new restaurants, there's shopping, there's entertainment, all within walking distance. We're also right by the police station, which is kind of a good thing. I think for our future tenants, that'll be a nice little peace of mind to have the police station so close. Um, so I found this site, it's actually been on my radar for, I mean, many years. I mentioned in my last video that I had tried a couple times to try to go out and do my own thing, and I just didn't have the skills and the team, the other people around me that I needed to make that happen. But this was, even 7+ years ago. This is a site that's been on my radar. When I was in the MRED program at the University of Utah, I took a GIS class, which was one of the best classes I took. I loved it so much, and learned how to build um, these tools using GIS. I could layer on a parcel map. I could layer on zoning, and then I could filter it uh, based on zoning and size and all these things. And so this was, I had this database of sites in Ogden that kind of fit that criteria, kind of an acre or less, already zoned for multifamily. And my business partner at the time, we'd started, calling these owners and sending out letters, and had actually really good response rates. And if you drive through Ogden now, probably 90% of those sites that were on our list have since been developed with some type of multifamily. And so we just didn't have the skills to execute on it back then. But so yeah, this site's been on my radar for a long time. And when I left my past job to go out on my own this most recent time, this was a site that I wanted to try to do something with. And so you get on, at least here in Utah, most municipalities have, the assessor has a GIS parcel map where you can kind of zoom around and click on parcels and find out information about it, and you could look up zoning and see which zones would fit what I wanted to do, and and then you can look up the property tax information, see who the owner is, and you can get a mailing address really easy. And so that's what I did. I found, so this overall site, it was 6 different parcels and 2 different owners. And so I went the old school route, and I wrote letters to both of these owners. And I mean, that's a whole nother topic, and something I think is really fascinating, that this whole direct mail and all the psychology and everything behind direct mail. It's really fascinating. But anyway, I just wrote letters to each of these owners and basically just said, we just bought another piece of property in Ogden, just a few blocks away. And so, I wrote these letters, and it says, hey, I just bought this property down the street, looking to buy more. I always, when I send out these kind of letters, I always include, just a screenshot from Google Earth of the parcel, and basically just said, hey, I don't know what your plans are for this property, but I would be interested in buying it, and mailed those off. And I got a call from the one owner pretty quickly afterwards, and he and his partner, they're architects, own an architecture firm in Ogden, and they had bought this property. Two of the 6 parcels, they bought the property with the plans of building an office, and a new office headquarters for their architecture firm. And they had since found another property in the more historic part of Ogden, and they were actually, when he called, they were in the process of remodeling, and so the timing was right. It really worked out well for them, where they could use the money to fund this remodel of their office. And so that one was a really easy sale, and we closed on that one pretty quickly. After first sending out that letter, we closed on that property pretty quickly on the first 2 parcels. That was about a quarter acre, and we really wanted to buy the whole thing and do a bigger project there. And I eventually did talk to the other owner of the other 4 parcels, and he was kind of interested in selling, but he'd had other people approach him, and we kind of, I actually made him like probably 3 different offers over the last couple of years. But the timing, looking back, the timing just wasn't right for him to sell, and so we were kind of disappointed, but we decided, hey, we've got these other 2 parcels, let's see what we can do with it, and we ended up getting it entitled for a 5-unit townhome building, and we were just going to build it, do everything in house between my partners and I, who were John Galbraith, an architect, and Brandon Rindlisbacher, project manager at the time. And we were just going to build it, the 3 of us, and we're going to build it, do everything ourselves, keep it forever, manage it ourselves, and just kind of start the ball rolling that way with development on our own. And so we took it all the way through. Got the site plan approved, got the plans, all finished, engineered everything. And it was about that time that the market started turning, and the days of 75, 80% leverage were long gone, and we were going to have to come up with a lot more capital to build the project that we didn't have at the time. And so we long story short, we decided to try to sell it, and just we were working on some other projects at the same time in southern Utah, and those were getting some more traction. And so we decided, hey, why don't we just put this up for sale, and we'll roll this into our other project. Um, and I mean, that's a whole nother story for another day, about trying to sell the property. And it just, the short story is, it didn't work out, and we had several different buyers, and it just didn't work out with any of them. And in the meantime, I've kept in contact with the owner of the other four parcels, and he would call me occasionally and say, "Hey, I think I'm ready. Something's changed, and with my family, and I think I'm ready to do this." And I would write up an offer the same day, and it didn't work out. And I was in a meeting with Patrick Spadine, my partner at Traverse Capital, at his office one day, and my phone rang, and I saw that it was this owner, and I said, I've got to take this call. Like, this guy, I've been trying to buy his property, and I have to take his call and talk to him. And um, so we talked for a while, and he was ready to sell. I mean, things had changed with his situation, with his family, and the time was right now, finally, after 2 years of talking to him and making several offers. The time was finally right for him, where it made sense for him to sell it. And so wrote up an offer, sent it over to him, went under contract. And it's just, I mean, just the power of following up, right? And I didn't do it in an annoying way. Like, I wasn't calling him every week. Just every once in a while, when I thought about it, I would give him a call, or he would call me every once in a while. And anyway, it finally worked out, and it made the not being able to build the fiveplex and not being able to sell that other site, it kind of made it seem like it was meant to be. That we weren't able to move forward with that, and now finally we've got everything under contract. And so that owner owned four of the six parcels, and so his property was about half an acre when you combine all those four together. And so anyway, we just closed on the land just a few weeks ago, and just super excited that it's all come together the way that it has. And uh, it's just, yeah, persistence and follow up that it finally worked out. And I'm really excited to talk more about the project, and the design. We want to talk to some of our partners that helped us close the land, and John, our architect, and really, I mean, it's getting a lot of momentum. And I remember posting on LinkedIn a while back, and just kind of told the same story about how I'd been chasing this site for, I mean, 2 years actively, but really a lot longer than that. And it got so much attention, and people asking about it, and interest, that we kind of knew that we were onto something. I mean, we always knew that, and we were always excited about it. But it's fun to see the other people got excited about it, and they could see the potential here with the site. And so anyway, that's the story of how we bought this property. And again, it was just kind of old school, sending letters. And I guess one thing I didn't mention is, part of this, psychology of direct mail. Yeah, I mean, you've probably, if you own a home or property, you've probably gotten, a postcard or several postcards or things in the mail, just kind of generic things saying, "Hey, I want to buy your property." And it's not, a lot of those aren't very personal. And so what I wanted to do was really make it personal, and make it look, uh, like it was a really specific letter, which it was. It was very targeted. I wanted to buy these six parcels in particular, and I wasn't sending out a mailer to everyone else on that block. It was, I wanted to buy these two parcels from this owner, and these four parcels from this other owner. And there's a lot of, I mean, we could go like really in depth on direct mail, but they were all hand signed. They were all, hand addressed with an actual stamp. Um, and really with, direct mail, you're just trying to get from the, when someone picks up their mail, and, you've done this and I've done this too. When someone picks up your mail, the first thing you do is you sort it into a trash and a keep pile. And, Patrick, my partner at Traverse Capital, he knows the direct mail a lot better than I do. And he has told me many times, you're just trying to make it into the keep pile at the beginning, right? You're just trying to get them to open the letter and read it. And, but initially you're just trying to get from the trash pile to the keep pile. And there's, a lot of interesting things you can do to kind of help get yourself into the keep pile. And, one thing that I tell people, um, if you're trying to get started and turn up deals like this, one thing that I recommend and that I've done is really just like focus on one area. For me, it was Ogden, and I just, I mean, didn't even get into like why I chose to be in Ogden, even with that, the stereotype. It's got a lot of great things going for it. It's a beautiful city. First of all, 25th Street, which is kind of the main historic street through town. It's got a ton of history, and it's like it's in the running right now for like one of the best main streets in the country. It's just a beautiful city, and you've got mountains right there. You can drive up the canyon just a few minutes, and there's a reservoir there. You can boat and fish, and the city's done a really good job of kind of rebranding itself as kind of an outdoor city, and they've done a really good job attracting those type of jobs. So there's a lot of sporting goods manufacturers that are headquartered in Ogden now. They've always had a strong manufacturing industry in the city, and I think the leaders have just done a really great job of repositioning the city and really gearing it more towards that kind of adventure lifestyle. Um, there's a university there, there's a hospital there, you've got a commuter rail station there, and just this beautiful historic downtown with a lot of brick buildings. And we'll talk about brick more when we talk with John about the design of what these buildings are going to look like, um, and kind of trying to match what's around there. But anyway, I hope that was helpful. Oh, the point I was trying to make before I got derailed is, I recommend that people really pick a city or an area and focus on it, and really get to know the zoning, get to know the parcels, the owners of that area, and really build a database, and just start sending letters. Or I send letters because I'm an introvert, and the thought of cold calling someone or showing up on their doorstep just terrifies me. But it doesn't for everyone. And so however you build this database, and however you decide to contact these people, that's up to you. But I think it is helpful to pick an area or two and just focus all your efforts there. Work your way through your whole database before moving on to another place. So I hope that's helpful. I hope there's something from that story that's been helpful or useful in what you're doing. And again, really excited to keep talking about this project. And we haven't even really got into the good stuff, which is, I think, the design and the product type, and all these other things I think are really exciting, and can't wait to share those with you on the next episode. So stay tuned.